All right, kia ora. My name is David Chanier from Plant and Food Research and Genomics Aotearoa. It's a great pleasure today to host a webinar from a colleague from overseas. So I'd like to introduce you to Gabriel. Gabriel is the head of research outreach, at protocols.io. It's a technology-based company whose goal are to foster research advancement through collaboration between researchers and to promote transparency, reproducibility, integrity, and experimental accountability through the sharing of publications of detailed research protocols. Before joining protocols.io, Gabriel was a senior editor for PLOS Biology, which most of you would know. All right, so Gabriel, we've got our attention now. Please let us know what you would like to present.
Yeah, thank you, David, for the kind introduction. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to present to Genomics Aotearoa, and I hope that some of the content that I present resonates with you and that you see value in our ideals and as well as in the tools that we have created. This presentation is being recorded, I was told, so you can revisit the content. So what you see on the screen right now is the agenda. I will talk for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm hoping to have some questions at the end, which you can start typing in the chat, and we'll get to them at the end. And in this webinar, I will go over some of the more general points in terms of the motivations for creating protocols.io, what our mission is, and how the platform and its tools can make your work easier and faster in the research lab, as well as to increase their reproducibility both inside and outside your own laboratories. And although I will be sharing a lot of information, we will not have the opportunity to go over all the details of the different functionalities of protocols.io. For that reason, at the end of my presentation, I will share with you some resources that you can browse for more information. But let's begin with what protocols.io is. It is a virtual platform for the collaborative development, sharing, and publication of detailed, up-to-date, and reproducible research protocols before, during, and after publication of a research article. And we have collected a series of tweets to set the background, and these tweets comment on the difficulties and frustrations of trying to replicate previously published experiments. And as you can read in this example, Daniel goes from reference to reference, trying to understand how certain devices reported in a paper from 2017 were fabricated. And when he finally reaches the original publication from 2009, it simply says, devices were fabricated with conventional methods. And that's all the information that Daniel gets. And this is just an example that highlights a widespread problem. That is very often the information reported or included in materials and methods sections of published articles is insufficient to allow readers understand what was done and to reproduce the experiments. And as part of the background on why protocols.io was created, we also like to talk about the Cancer Biology Reproducibility Project, which was a $1.5 million initiative coordinated by the Center for Open Science and by Science Exchange with the goal of trying to independently replicate almost 200 experiments from about 50 high-profile papers on cancer biology. What the reproducibility project researchers discovered very soon after the project began is that it is very difficult to replicate previously published work. There are several reasons why this is the case, but one of them is that the original researchers didn't document in their articles with enough detail what they did and how they did it. So what you see on the screen is the Center for Open Science website that summarizes some of the results of the Cancer Biology Reproducibility Project. And as you can see, of the 193 experiments that they tried to replicate from 53 papers, 0% of the protocols were completely reported, 0%, which made it impossible to reproduce them without contacting the original authors. Equally striking, when researchers from the reproducibility project contacted the original authors, they also discovered that these did not always could tell how their own experiments had been done. Therefore, the problem of lack of reproducibility goes beyond the lack of adequate reporting in published articles, but also highlights deficiencies in the way researchers keep record of their own experimental protocols for housekeeping. And this is caused, among other reasons, because people move from labs. So students graduate and leave, postdoctoral researchers become faculty elsewhere, and so on. And traditional papered notebooks can be damaged, easily misplaced or lost, and are difficult to search to find the most up-to-date version of a protocol. And this lack of adequate record keeping and reporting of methods goes against the importance that researchers seem to give to methods when reading a paper. So what you see on the screens are results published in PLOS One that show in pink that as the career of a scientist progresses, the value they give to method sections in papers increases. Therefore, we thought that a secured cloud-based system for the proper storage and exchange of detailed experimental protocols was needed. But generally speaking, protocols.io comes into flavors. So we have a completely free open access repository which provides unlimited publishing of protocols. Each of these public protocols will receive a unique digital object identifier, or DOI, making them permanent and citable. It is thus free to create an account in protocols.io and to publish an unlimited number of protocols. Because the repository is open access, it is equally free to come and read, use, and reuse the public protocols. But our business model relies on premium accounts that offer everything the free plan offers, plus an unlimited number of private protocols and workspaces, premium training, and for the institutional accounts, a free protocol import service. And these accounts incur a cost. If you were interested to learn more, you can find more details about our plans at protocols.io/plans/academia. And I will explain later on what workspaces are that I already mentioned and how the protocol import service works. But protocols.io was launched in 2014. Currently, we have over 163,000 registered users who have created over 15,000 public protocols and over 55,000 private protocols. The public protocols are all open access, which means they are fully searchable and free to read, use, and reuse. Last year alone, our protocols had over 2 million readers. But let's discuss why we think it is productive, time-saving, and rewarding to create, share, and publish detailed experimental protocols in addition to improving clarity and reproducibility. And the key message that I want to convey is that practicing open science, including open methods, is beneficial for the practitioner as much as it is for the extended research community. But let me begin by showing how the protocols created and published in protocols.io go beyond what a traditional static PDF offers. These protocols are live, dynamic, and interactive, yet persistent and citable documents. So I'm going to open one of these protocols. Just right. So what you see now, it's a published protocol in protocols.io. Because it has been published, it has a DOI assigned, making it persistent and citable. The protocols are written in a recipe-like step-by-step format. They can be supplemented or enriched with images, pictures, and even videos that you can play during the protocol. Different sections of the protocol can be coded in different colors, creating tables of contents that you can navigate. The document is interactive because any reader can come and post a comment and a question, and the authors will be notified. Anyone can come and make their own editable copy or fork to optimize the protocol for their specific needs. The protocols are versionable, and I can navigate between different versions of the protocol. And the protocol can be run directly from the computer or tablet. So if we're talking about a wet lab protocol and potentially a computational protocol, as you make progress in the experiment, you can tick off every step as done. You can see the progress of the experiment. If I notice something unusual or I make a mistake, I can add a comment. And then I can save the run as an independent file, keeping record with a timestamp, keeping record of that experiment run for that day. But now that you have seen the benefits of these protocols, let's go over, and before I do that, I want to mention that even though there's a historical bias in favor of protocols in wet biomedicine, the platform itself is agnostic to the subject area of research. And researchers in different fields have begun using it to develop, share, and publish protocols beyond the molecular biology lab. So in these slides, I show you only 3 examples for archaeology, bioinformatics, and clinical research. But you can extrapolate the idea to any specific area of research. And again, opening in this case, a bioinformatics protocol. You can see again that the protocol is written in a detailed recipe-like fashion. It's enriched with images, pictures. You can add links to GitHub. There is a table of content. You can copy it and run it from the computer or tablet. But I was saying that having a wider picture of the benefits of practicing open science, I want to discuss what these benefits are. And not necessarily in order of importance, but a first advantage of making your methods public is that by using specialized repositories to publish these protocols, you are increasing the chances that they will be discovered and reused, which should lead to more credit and recognition. So I'm going to use another example taken from Twitter. So you can see here a tweet from a researcher who was looking for a protocol for RNA extraction from primary cortical neurons in culture. Someone answered this tweet and recommended a protocol that is in protocols.io. But this protocol was actually part of a paper that was published in the journal GigaScience. But the paper is about a fish parasite. So the chances of researchers working on primary cortical neurons in culture finding a paper on a fish parasite as a means of finding a method that will work for them seemed really slim. But because the protocol was published independently in a specialized repository, it made the method more discoverable and increased the chances of people reusing it. And once a protocol is published, the document has a tab that is called metrics that shows in real time all traffic and use of the protocol, including number of views, bookmarks, exports, copies, comments, and citations that the protocol has received. Another reason to make your protocols public is to guarantee preservation and to facilitate seamless continuity of the work inside your laboratories. As we mentioned before, a large fraction of a lab personnel is floating. Students graduate and leave and so on. publishing your protocols makes them persistent citable objects that will be permanently stored in your workspace as well as in the open access repository. And I should mention that all public and private content in protocols.io is mirrored and backed up in CLOCKS, GitHub, and the Internet Archive. And public sharing of protocol also increases the chances of establishing collaborations, as we have seen cases where researchers report that this is the case. And I would like to show you how the common functionality that I briefly mentioned before of the platform allows an open, scholarly, and productive discussion between all parties interested in a particular protocol or method. So what you see here is a very popular protocol that has received over 1,200 comments. Again, the protocol is detailed, it has sections and so on. But what I want you to show is that any reader can come, click at the comments, and see the conversation between users of the protocol that write to the authors with questions and the author responses. These comments, again, can be supplemented with images. And this is an open, scholarly discussion that could potentially lead to collaborations. And managing and publishing your methods independently should also simplify your work down the road when the time of submitting and publishing a paper comes. Again, I'm going to use Twitter. So here we have a scientist at the Washington University, Professor Jonathan Kipnis, saying, what if labs publish each of their unique methods or protocols, and in future papers, instead of rewriting the protocols, we just cite them? We waste so much time on methods by saying the same thing differently. And that is exactly what protocols.io is about. So you can publish your protocols in the open access repository, obtain DOIs, and cite these protocols in your papers over and over again, so you never have to rewrite detailed method sections again. And this is what the authors of this PLOS Biology paper did. So they created, deposited, and published their protocols in protocols.io, obtaining a citable DOI, which they included in the materials and methods section, replacing most of the writing. The reader, by following their link, has access to the detailed step-by-step protocol in protocols.io. And a really nice thing about how protocols.io works is that the protocols are versionable, as I mentioned before. So if the authors have updated their protocols since the time of publication, the reader will be notified, and they can choose to read the protocol as it was published, which is what I show on the screen right now, or by following the view the newer version link, have access to the most updated version of that protocol. And a bonus, by practicing open science, and particularly open methods, you increase reproducibility inside and outside your laboratory. Now, let me give you a taste of how the platform looks like and how its different functionality allow you to do everything I listed before. Organize and preserve your work, collaborate, save time, increase your reproducibility, impact, and credit. So the platform has three main sections: the workspaces, the file manager, and the editor. And I will explain in the next few slides how they relate to each other by using a simple cartoon. So the workspace is where everything happens. It is from this space that you create protocols, organize your work, and collaborate with others. The workspace has a folder that is organized by the file manager. And in the file manager, you can use the editor to create protocols. During my explanation on what each of these sections do, I will be moving back and forth between them. So if you go to our website, what you see on the screen is the landing page. You can create an account if you have not done so already and log in. You can also log in using Orchid, Facebook, or Google. And once you start a session, the first step is to create your workspace. The system will also ask you if you want to invite anyone to join this collaborative space, but this is not compulsory. Once in the workspace, which I have entitled here Research Project 1, you will have access to its file manager, which is empty because this workspace is new. To the left, you have access to the administration menu of the workspace. And to create a new protocol, you go to the new button, which will take you to the editor. The file manager will eventually contain, display, and organize the protocols you have created within that workspace. The file manager supports any file type. So you can create protocols with the editor, but you can also bring PDFs, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets. It helps you archiving, auditing, and exporting because it can connect to Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. And it has been designed with enterprise-grade security and backup functionality. The editor has detailed components, a granular editing history that allows all changes to be reverted. It also allows concurrent editing by 2 or more collaborators, the same way 2 or more people can work simultaneously on a Google document. The protocol itself is written, as I told you before, in a step-by-step format, and different sections of the protocol can be coded in different colors. Now, going back to the workspace, this is the space for collaborations. You can invite anyone to join your workspace. It can be a student or postdoc, another faculty member in the same institution, or external collaborators. To invite collaborators, you go to the administration menu of the workspace. You select Manage Members. And now you can invite people by typing their email address. You can make a workspace public, your workspace public, meaning it will be searchable and people can request to join. And at the end of my presentation, I will show you some nice examples of public workspaces. Or you can make your workspace completely private, which is the default setting. You can also manage the privileges that members will have and limit what they can do, such as inviting other members or sharing or deleting files from the workspace folder. Members of a workspace can comment on the protocols that reside in that workspace or ask questions. The members of a workspace can also make changes to these protocols. And as I told you before, there is a detailed log of all implemented changes, which can be reverted if needed. Members of a workspace can also create their own protocols in that file manager, or take an existing protocol, make an editable fork, and optimize it according to their own needs. And the platform allows you to compare 2 versions of the same protocol, so you can see the difference side by side. In this case, this protocol has 3 versions. I'm comparing version 1 to the right and version 2 to the left, and the differences are automatically highlighted. And even if a member of the workspace leaves, because, for example, a student graduates, the protocols remain organized, up to date, and available in the file manager. So there is persistency. You can also select to print your protocol or export it as a PDF to Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox. So what we see here is a private protocol. By selecting more, I can export it directly to the printer or as a PDF to my computer or any of these cloud-based drives or to the electronic Labbook lab archives. So if I send the protocol to my computer, you see the protocol has been created. This is a long protocol that starts with an abstract, an introduction, and eventually I get to the steps of the protocol. So I can have a hard copy next to me while I'm running my experiments. But you can also collaborate beyond the workspace by sharing specific protocols with specific people via email or by publishing them. It is easy to share a protocol. You select a protocol. What you see here is my personal file manager. There are 4 protocols. All these are private. I can select it, I can share it, and I can send it to specific collaborators by typing their email. Once I add a collaborator to this specific protocol, I can control what they can do with the document. 3 of them are editors, but 1 of them can only view the protocol without the ability of making changes. Now, publishing a protocol will make it fully public and searchable, and it will assign to it a DOI, allowing anyone with an internet connection to search for it and to access it. It will also create a lock that will not allow further changes to the protocol. So published protocols are not editable anymore. A published protocol with an assigned DOI is a citable object that can be referenced to in a paper, giving credit to the author's methodological work. The reference will also be linked to the protocol in protocols.io so that readers have access to the step-by-step interactive protocol, even if the paper was published behind a paywall. Once a protocol is published, it becomes a template. Any reader can create their own editable fork and modify it according to their needs. However, there is a history link that will link any forked protocol to the original copy. So in this example, you see a protocol that is a modified version, an optimized version of a protocol created by somebody else. The platform tells us that this protocol was forked from another protocol, which you can access by following the link. So the authors get credit for protocol creation and optimization, and the reader has access to the history of changes and evolution of the protocol. But you can also go beyond merely posting your protocols in protocols.io open access repository. In fact, you can have your protocols formally peer-reviewed and published as standalone papers in PLOS One. So protocols.io and PLOS One have established a collaboration, the result of which is the creation of a new article type in PLOS One that is called lab protocol. In this article type, the protocol itself is the core of the manuscript, and the editor and peer reviewers are not expecting new experimental results other than those required to validate the protocol. The detailed protocol in protocols.io will be bidirectionally linked to the article in PLOS One, and the protocol in the platform will receive additional badges indicating that this method has been peer-reviewed. Now, going back to the workspaces, you can create multiple workspaces in your account depending on your research and teaching needs. So you can create different workspaces for different research projects, and each workspace can have different members and contain different protocols and documents, giving you great flexibility for organization. Workspaces are also spaces where communities can collaborate on developing and standardizing methods. For example, if I search for genomics, I get all these public workspaces. Because these are public workspaces, anyone can come and visit the public content. So I can see the publications associated with this workspace and the members. and I can request to join. But I am aware that probably most of you already have existing protocols in a digital format that is not protocols.io. It could be a PDF, it could be a text document, a Word document. So I'm going to run a very quick demo to show you how you could potentially centralize all these existing protocols in a unique or in this particular repository. So to do that, I will minimize my screen. And I'll show you. So as you can see here, what you see now, it's my account on protocols.io. I belong to several different communities represented by different workspaces. I select my personal account, and this is its file manager. So I can create a new folder that I can call Genomics. And this is my hard drive in which I have 4 protocols in different formats. The easiest way to bring these protocols into the platform is just to copy and drag them. They've been copied, meaning that they've been centralized. I can share any of these protocols with any collaborator, and all the members of my workspace will see these documents. However, because these are not protocols, but documents in their original format, they are not publishable, and I won't be able to assign DOIs to any of these protocols. The easiest way to create a publishable protocol out of any of these existing documents is to create with the editor an empty protocol and attach these documents. So I will do that. I'm going to create a new protocol that will take me to the editor. Which is what you see on the screen right now. I can add a title. In the description tab, I can add an abstract. And instead of writing the steps, what I can do, it's in the description tab again. At the very bottom, there is a window for me to attach my protocol in any format. In this case, I selected the PDF, and it has been attached. So if I go to the viewer, I see that my protocol has a title and an abstract, which will make the protocol more discoverable, but the protocol itself has been attached as a PDF. It is now publishable, but because the protocol is a PDF, it is not a dynamic and interactive document. It doesn't accept comments. I cannot run it from the computer or tablet. However, if I have a protocol in a text document, I can import the steps of that protocol. I'm going to do that again in this example. If it's not too small for you to see, it says here that if you have an existing protocol, you can insert a step from a text file. So I can open any of the protocols that is a text file. In this case, I selected the one that is Apple Pages. You can see this protocol has a title, authors, an abstract, and different sections with multiple steps each section. So the easiest way for me to create a dynamic and interactive protocol is to copy the steps that I want to create, select this function, insert the steps from a text file. I can paste them, preview them. And now I have created steps in the protocol out of a text document. I can add a title to the section. I can create a second section. and keep copying the steps using this functionality. Now, if I go to the viewer, I see the protocol with the steps. Now it is an interactive document because it accepts comments. It can be run from the computer or tablet, and it can be published, it can be shared. So I show you 3 examples or 3 ways in which you can centralize existing protocols in the platform, drag and drop, attach a document, and import the steps from a text file. In addition, we have a team of editors that will create these dynamic interactive live documents out of existing PDFs or Word documents for you. You can send us those protocols at protocols.io. We enter protocols, but that service incurs in a cost. I hope that I have provided enough information to persuade you that by practicing open science and open methods specifically, you could stay organized, collaborate efficiently, save time, increase your impact, get credit for your method development work. And before I finalize, I have to say that I know that I shared a lot of information that you might need time to digest. The recording will be available, but we also have other resources for further information. So if you go to protocols.io/webinars, you will see that we host monthly webinars covering different topics organized by different time zones. So you can select which one you would like to attend. These are all free. This is the list of upcoming webinars. And we also have a service in which you can request a one-to-one demo. This is free, and you will have the opportunity to interactively discuss with one of our specialists about any question you might have about the platform. And now, with that, I do open the floor for questions.